Hello, everybody. How are you doing? My name is Miss Ramsey, and today I'm going to be doing a brief class on how is geometry used in real life. Now, this video is just a freebie that I'm doing just to show your older students how geometry is relevant to real life. Now you can have your young kiddos in on this because this is not a class or a video that's going to go into the rudiments of how you actually do geometry. This video is just simply a video to ease the tension and ease the stress and anxiety in regards to higher learning math. This video is just to pump your confidence, boost you up, and let you see that you have this all together. For those of you who do not know, I am a homeschooling consultant. I also am a math tutor. So I tutor all children, especially those with learning differences, to success in regards to math using an amazing curriculum that I stand by. Now, I did not create the curriculum. However, the curriculum is simply amazing. But this is about how is geometry relevant in real life, because many times we run into the situation where we're trying to teach a topic or teach a subject that we cannot see the relevance of it. It makes it very, very difficult for our teenagers to see, why should I learn this? Because this is just a stressor. Why should I learn this? The cool thing is that you already know all of this. You have been familiar with all of this. You may not even pay attention to all the geometric things that surround us every single day. So in this video, I'm just going to bring those elements to life to help you see that, hey, yes, geometry is relevant. You do use it in regular day-to-day life. However, we don't all the time go out and work the formulas like someone would do if they go into a field of work in which they use geometry. However, we do benefit greatly from individuals that use it on a regular basis, and we are exposed to geometric things every single day without us even knowing it. So this video is all about that and how you can totally de-stress this particular topic or facet of math, which is geometry. So let's go ahead and get started. So basically, how can we get started with it if we don't even know what it is, right? So we're going to get the definition of what geometry is. So what is geometry? It's a branch of mathematics that is concerned with the properties and relationships of points, lines, angles, curves, surfaces, and also solids. It's the visual study of shapes, sizes, patterns, and positions. One thing I want to help you parents to see and encourage you is that as a parent, as a homeschooling parent, math has always been that subject that has caused not only anxiety for my kiddos, but anxiety for me, because I was just an average student in math when I was in school. So now as an adult, when I was thinking about homeschooling, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can teach math because that really wasn't my favorite topic, favorite subject. It caused a lot of stress and anxiety for myself as a young person. How am I going to be able to teach this to my students? Well, guess what? Or my students and also my children. How can I do this like effectively? And when I start really perusing and doing my research and also finding the right curriculum that worked, I was able to, it just opened up my mind. And now, as an adult, I absolutely love math. And I wish this was unlocked for me when I was a student in school. However, I'm glad it's unlocked to me now. So now I'm able to help over 147 students get over that learning anxiety, that stress, that anguish of not feeling good enough in regards to math. Guess what? It's okay. You can do it because you will notice that children that usually have traditional math anxiety with the other facets of math, they're normally or naturally usually very, very good at geometry because they're usually a visual learner. My children are naturally good at geometry. Never had to teach them geometry because they were just naturally very, very good at it. So you will notice that if you have a child or children that are not good with traditional math and other topics, they usually really soar in regards to geometry. So let's go ahead. Now, I put this here so that we can have a little break. I want you to take a deep breath and just relax because the rest of this video is going to be super duper easy. It's nothing that you have to learn. You don't have to learn anything. It's just basically giving you a point of comparison, helping you to see how we are using this amazing facet of math that's called geometry. We have been using it unknowingly or have been experiencing the benefits of it unknowingly without even knowing it. So this video is about simply pulling real life examples and helping you see, hey, geometry helped them do that. That's what this class is about. So it's fun. Get your popcorn, go get your math book so after we get done so you can see, hey, I got this. Math is easy. So let's go ahead and get on into the slide presentation. Okay. These are called protractors. These are instruments that you use in the wonderful world of geometry. So all of my older children out there, all of my middle schoolers and high schoolers, you have already seen this. Maybe some of my elementary students have seen this as well. These are different instruments that we use in the amazing world of geometry to help us measure those amazing circles and make those straight lines, and measure those angles and get those right degrees. It is just an amazing, fun tool to use in the world of geometry. And if you do not have this, you can go to your local Dollar Tree and get this one. Let me put my pointer so you can see it. All right, you see my little red dot? This is my pointer. And so I am pointing to where I want you to particularly focus on at this time. So most of us are familiar with this particular half of circle. I don't know if you realize that this is exactly a half of circle, 180 degrees that we use to measure angles and all that good stuff. And we can actually make a perfect circle with this mathematical instrument. And this is a perfect circle, 360 degrees. So we use this in the wonderful world of geometry, these instruments to make geometry fun and easy for us to kind of maneuver and navigate through the wonderful world of geometry. Now, what is this amazing symbol? It stands for pi. No, it's not the pie that you go eat at your grandma's house or get from the store. However, did you know that geometry have the mathematical symbol and term of pi? And most of the time when we hear this, we're like, oh no, this is what scares you because you see all these numbers and you're like, oh my goodness, I have to learn all this. The great thing is that you just need to remember 3.14. That is pi. And as you get deeper into the concepts and deeper into the wonderful world of geometry, you will start to love this wonderful mathematical symbol in regards to pi. And it will be so much fun for you to learn all the things that goes along with this amazing symbol. But I just want to introduce you to that symbol. So the next time you see this in your math textbooks, it just means pi. Not the pie you eat, but the mathematical term or terminology for pi in geometry. Now, many of you have already seen geometric shapes. Ever since you was a little child, if you had blocks, you will notice that you have different shapes, different variations of it. And these are some of the shapes that are paramount in the beautiful world of geometry. You have already seen all these shapes in some shape or form in regular life. I just want you to look at all of these shapes. We have square, rectangle, circle, oval, triangle, pentagon, hexagon, octagon, cubes, sphere, cylinder, cone, rectangular prism, and pyramids. Now, I know everybody should know about something about the pyramids because it kind of transition in all shapes and forms of life. You will notice that you will see these shapes go transition to every single topic, every single subject that we have, not just math. Like, for example, the pyramids, with Egyptians, they use the pyramids. With the road, we're going to go over different things where we see these different symbols and signs in real life. So let's go ahead and get right into that. So in geometry, you will notice that you have 3D shapes and 2D shapes, and they are pretty amazing. So now we're going to look at pictures of how in the previous slide we looked at just the geometric shapes in general with colors, and now we're going to see how those geometric shapes transition into real life. So as you can see here, we have solids are used all around us. Have you ever seen these examples? Look at this geometric shape, which is named a cube. Guess what? You have already been using this geometric shape in your life. If you ever use the board game, ever use dice, ever use this amazing toy, ever had an ice cube, guess what? You have just been introduced to a cube, which is a geometric shape used in geometry. Let's look at this rectangular prism. Look at all of this. How many of you have received a large present in a box or Amazon box? I love Amazon. How many of you have used an eraser to erase your work? Well, guess what? You have just used geometry in your real life. Look at the sphere. Look at the basketball, soccer ball, tennis balls. Now we're looking at cones. We see all of these familiar things. And who don't love a wonderful ice cream cone? Look at the cylinder. I'm sure you're familiar with Campbell's soup, paint cans, and Coca-Cola, or some of you say pop, some of you say soda. I'm sure you recognize that. But guess what? That is a geometric shape that we use in geometry. And now we're going to transition into the pyramids. Of course, we already know about the Egyptian pyramids, but also we have pizza and different other toys and stuff that we use. Sorry about that. Ooh, and look to the bottom, we even have candy. So look at how all of this transition into our real life, day-to-day real life, even down to our regular analog clock, doors, signs, all of this amazing stuff that we use every single day without us even paying attention that we use geometry to do it, or geometry was used in order to create that certain thing. So let's go on. I absolutely love 3D shapes. My son absolutely love it. My daughter too. They love creating 3D shapes even from when they were smaller. It's just a very fun way to look at things. So these are some examples of 3D shapes. 3D shapes just basically mean you can see them on three sides. So, and basically it is, how can I say it? It's not flat. So I know you have experienced this in real life, and if you have any of these manipulatives or resources at your homeschool, pull them out and really peruse and look at them and examine them really, or observe them. You will see some things you probably never even seen before or never really paid attention to. Now, how does this geometry transition into real life for certain jobs and different things that people do? Like, although we are all exposed to geometry every single day in day-to-day life inside your home and also outside when you go outside, there are particular jobs that individuals use geometry with every single day. So if you're ever interested in these type of jobs, I encourage you to be proficient in geometry. Let's look at this. These are certain occupations in which geometry is used on a regular, because that's what you need to use. So if you are a jeweler, if you love jewelry, ladies, or even men who love jewelry, you're going to need geometry. You use that in the real world. What about a watchmaker? You use geometry. A surveyor. If you don't know what a surveyor is, it's an individual that goes out to measure the distance between a certain point of land, or distance between your land and someone else's land, or actually surveying a piece of land to actually build a building on. Then we have an exciting career of a fashion designer. They use geometry. An artist, photographer, all of them use geometry. A person who makes shoes, accessories, hats, boats, a boat designer, computer programmer, mechanic, architect, builders, carpenter, because this is talking about carpentry. If you had to put carpet in all of these rooms, you need geometry in order to do that. A civil engineer, a cell phone designer, interior designer, furniture maker, cabinet maker, town planner, space, graphic artist, game developer. Let's talk about that a little bit, because we have so many individuals on here, some amazing students who absolutely love games. Did you know that in order to be a game developer and animation with making cartoons, that you need geometry to do it? A landscaper, someone who loves to make beautiful gardens and make those immaculate, beautiful yards that are totally breathtaking, you need geometry. Even if you are a farmer, making food for your family, or just for fun, if you like to build a road, or you're a road constructor, a website designer, all of these amazing occupations, you actually use geometry to use it. So this video is about showing you how this wonderful facet of math, which is called geometry, transition into real life. Because at the end of the day, we want to know, can we really use it? I know that's how I was. So those are some amazing careers that if you have any interest in those careers, of course, this is not an inclusive list. There are many, many more things that you use geometry for, but just for video purposes, we just highlighting these particular ones. So if you have any interest in those particular careers or occupations, then you need to buff up on your geometry. And see, you use it in construction. So you see how this individual is using all of these mathematical instruments for geometry, all of these measuring tools to use for geometry. Now, in geometry, we not only use shapes, but we also use angles. Angles are so much fun because they're just simply angles, and we're measuring degrees. So, and all these angles have different names. And once you learn the names and how many degrees it stands for, it's super duper fun. So we're just going to talk. We're not going to go into detail about the angles because the picture is self-explanatory, but we have acute angles, right angles, obtuse, straight angles, reflex angles, and full rotation angles, which means it rotates 360 degrees, unlike the reflex angle, which is just 180, or the straight line, which is exactly 180 degrees. So once you get into geometry, you're going to go deep into all of these amazing angles. I absolutely love angles. It's so much fun. So how are those different angles transition to real life? Because at the end of the day, that's what we want to know, right? I mean, yeah, we want to learn it, but how is it transition? Because that's what this video is about, how those angles are transition to real life. So the next time you look at all of these different landmarks and all these different homes, and when you go out and about, I want you to focus on looking for different angles. Did you know you had to use angles for this amazing monument or landmark monument? So guess what? I'm not going to tell you what this is, because if you don't know what this is, I want you to look this up. But look, we have zero angles, right angles, acute angles, obtuse angles, straight angles, supplementary angles, complementary angles. All of that is encompassed in this amazing architecture, beautiful masterpiece. So if you don't know what this is, Google it. It's something that you can learn new today. So this, when you look at this, you're like, oh no, not slope. What is this? So did you know that all of this makes sense when we transition it into an architectural masterpiece? So the next slide is, well, this is basically a formula that you use in geometry in order to solve a problem. Well, individuals have already used this amazing formula to use or build some amazing architectural masterpieces. So we're going to see how this was actually used and transitioned into real life, because hey, at the end of the day, we want to see how this goes into our real life. These are real life examples of slope. Now, I am not going to tell you what these particular landmarks are. If you don't know, I want you to look them up or try to Google it. However, these are examples of slope and how they are used in real life. And it'll be pretty cool for you to do some research with your geography. I about to say geometry. Geography. This will make a cool geography lesson where you can go and find out how all of these amazing slopes transition into real life. Look at this. This building is slanted slightly and they use the slope formula. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. All of these are examples of that amazing formula that we just saw that was used in order to do slope, which is a formula in geometry. Next, we're going to look at what is a negative slope. A negative slope is when the line on the graph descends from top left to bottom right. So these are also examples of how you have this negative slope. So I know that all of you have experienced this particular amazing slide and also on a hanger. And as you can see, these are different ways in which negative slope is used in real life. Who would have thought that all of this was geometry, right? Oh, isn't this little guy cute? So these are different ways that we use acute angles. And acute angles, they are anywhere but in measurements or degrees, there's anywhere between 0 to 90 degrees. Okay, so how is that transition to real life in acute angle? Well, guess what? Have you ever noticed that the yield sign that we use to slow down in driving is actually an example of an acute angle? When you cut a wonderful, delicious piece of pie, that is an example of an acute angle. When you cut, use your scissors and you have them at this measurement degrees, guess what? You have just made an acute angle. Who knew? Now, look at him. He's back again to teach us another thing. Obtuse angles. Obtuse angles are between 90 to 180 degrees. Let's see how it transitions to real life. Woo! Who love hockey? So this hockey stick is an example of an obtuse angle. And even our analog clock focus on the handles, if I'm saying it correctly, or the hands of the analog is showing us an obtuse angle right here. Look at my pointer. So who would have knew that while you're telling time, you're doing angles and geometry at the same time? So that's how it transitions. Many of you have beautiful stairways in your home or have experience going up a beautiful stairway. Look, have you ever paid attention that we have obtuse angles? Look at this amazingness. So pay attention to your home and where you go at, because you more than likely have experienced an obtuse angle in real time. Now we're going to talk about symmetry. Symmetry is very, very important in different things that we make and also fun. Basically, symmetry is having two sides of a whole that look like they reflect each other. So the best example of that is this amazing butterfly. Now we do not want to cut this beautiful butterfly in half. However, this is just an example. If you had to go cut this beautiful butterfly in half, which we're not going to do because it's so beautiful, but you will notice that it looks exactly the same on both sides. So that is symmetry, looking the exact same on both sides or reflect the other side. So let's look at some pictures of symmetry. Look at these beautiful swan. Look at the symmetry. It's the same on the exact same side. Look at how serene it is. So this is an example of symmetry, even down to a zebra. We know that zebra have many, many stripes, but did you know that it is organization to the chaos that when we look at it, it look chaotic. It look kind of like it's just a whole lot of different shapes and it's kind of like jammed up. But guess what? Did you know that it is symmetry? So you will notice how it looks the same. Notice this amazing face of this beautiful zebra and notice the symmetry of the face and how the lines and shape go and how you can split it. So it's order to the madness. Beautiful examples in real life with our beautiful animals in regards to symmetry. Now look at this, a starfish. I don't even have to go into detail. Example of symmetry. Now we're going to talk about line segments, and basically a line segment is it has a beginning point and an end point, and line segments on a shape are called sides, and we can find them in many shapes and sizes. We can even use the line segment format in regards to geography and using our map. And you see how it distinguishes this line, a point of beginning and an end point, and how it actually coincides to a shape where you have just experienced symmetry. So anytime that you look at a map, you can actually make your own lines of symmetry or segments. I meant to say you can make your lines of segments and you can do it yourself and just have fun measuring just a beginning point to an end point. So if you want to go cross country, you can make a segment from the point in which you live, the area or state, and go to the destination. The end point will be the destination where you would like to end up. That is an example of a line segment. And you can actually get a little fancy, find some other points of destination where you would like to go and actually make a shape which then will be called sides. So you have been using this already. Look at this amazing point of segments and how it has a beginning and how it has an end and how it is also shows shapes. So that is a real life example. If you don't know what this is, fun fact, look it up, Google it. That'll be a good geography research for you. Look at this amazing line segment. This is the Empire State Building in New York City, and it had amazing line segments. Amazing, amazing. Now these are different examples of lines, parallels, zero angles. This, of course, is a field that you are like, if you're a planter, you have a large family farm. Did you realize that you use zero angles or and parallel angles, which is basically equals 180 degrees, and you use that, and it's a reason why when you look at a farm, whether it's a factory farm or a family farm, that everything is in line and everything has symmetry and everything have parallel lines and equal. So, because it helps. So you have already experienced it either firsthand or you experienced because you have a family farm or have visited a farm. And then look at the railroad tracks. It says lines in the same plane that do not intersect or cross each other. That is a perfect example of a railroad track. So you have already experienced this. Geometry is very usable in real life, or we experience it every day, whether we have a job that does it or not. And these are some more examples of parallel lines and a track showing us how it transitions to real life. Woo, look at that football field. Let's look at this right angle. Basically, it's two rays that create a 90-degree angle. A right angle is exactly that. A right angle uses a measure 90 degrees. And let me show you how a 90 degrees. So you will go down like this and across, that would be a 90-degree angle. This is a 90-degree angle. You see how it transitioned into real life with the frame of the door. You can actually put your own body into a right angle. Why don't you try this today? It'll be a fun little activity for you to do, to put your body in a right angle It's so fun for you to actually use your body to create shapes and sizes, but did you know that you can use it in geometry? Well, you can. So I encourage you to do the complementary angles. Make a right angle, make an acute angle, make an obtuse angle, and have some fun. This is another example of various angles and how you can actually do this project with your doorway and actually make different degrees for your angle. And this is a perfect example of an obtuse angle, which is a baseball field. Did you realize that geometry was used in order for you to have that amazing experience at a baseball field? Steps are geometry is all day long. When we step on steps, we use steps, we create steps. They use geometry. So these are just some examples in which how you saw how geometry is used in real life. So the next time you open up that amazing geometry book, don't be afraid because you are already ahead of the game. You already know about geometry. You just need to put the numbers and the formulas to it, and then you have it all together. So no longer do you need to have math anxiety for geometry because we are surrounded by geometry every single day. The only thing you need to do is put the formulas and the math to it. But now you see how fun and cool it is. And also you can decide whether or not you want to use your geometry in an occupation or a career of your choice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. No longer do you have to feel like, oh no, where's the relevance of geometry? Because now you know. So you guys have a great rest of your day. This video was to encourage, motivate, and build the confidence of our older students that have to do this higher learning math that feel like, hey, is it relevant? Yes, it is. We're using it every single day. So the next time you pick up the geometry book, you're already ahead of the game because you see how geometry transition into real life. You guys have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will try to do some more videos like this for you on my YouTube channel. If you have not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the like button and make sure that you share the content if you found it beneficial. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.